This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
The show is not easy to watch. It wasn't one of our best efforts.
Well, unfortunately, Vince McMahon agreed. There's an interesting story in the Observer about the end of this show. Quote, just as the cameras faded to black, signifying the end of the In Your House pay-per-view show in Winnipeg, a disgusted Vince McMahon threw down his glasses and his headset and said the words horrible as he started to walk to the back with Jim Ross, while the pull-apart brawl with Bret Hart and Diesel was still going on in the ring. Seconds later, as the brawl ended, Diesel, the person McMahon had planned to build his company around 1 year earlier, was being booed out of the building. Yet another in the long line of failed experiments in his quest to find the new Hulk Hogan. The virtually unanimous crowd reaction to Diesel after yet another unimpressive main event match seems to make it only logical that Bret Hart is destined to have a career similar to the man who his being compared with results in outbursts, Ric Flair. Like Flair, Hart is the man picked to pick up the pieces time after time when experiments of creating new world champions that will be the next big thing in wrestling end up with declining box office figures. Do you remember Vince being upset at the end of this show?
I don't recall that specifically. I would imagine going back and looking at this show is one of those that I probably wanted to forget immediately. And I wouldn't be surprised if Vince felt the same way, because it wasn't a good show. It didn't flow. It was, just drudging all the way through from start to finish. And it just sucked. That's the only way to say it, man. It sucked. Probably would have had to improve, just suck. But it was one of those situations where, okay, you look at it and you're back to the drawing board. And it was to get to a November pay-per-view, a Survivor Series. So you're looking at it like, okay, this is half-ass a freebie. And you can make every excuse in the world. Oh, October's never really a good month for us and shit like that. We were snake bit on injuries and trying to get to Bret and Diesel along the way. And along the way, it just wasn't a good story to tell.
Talk to me a little bit about where we were at this point. Did you already have WrestleMania 12 mapped out? I mean, I know that sounds funny, but on this show, we've got Bret Hart doing commentary. So we're building to Bret and Diesel. We know that. We're coming off of WrestleMania with Diesel and Shawn, but Shawn, who a lot of people thought was the heir apparent, if you will, he just got his ass beat and had to forfeit the Intercontinental title. Did you already know what we're doing for WrestleMania 12 at this point?
Yes. As far as Shawn and Bret, yes. But as I say, you're at this particular exact point of this pay-per-view. I think there were doubts with the whole Shawn injury.
Yeah. That's what's fascinating to me is it does feel like, well, what can Shawn do or not do? We know we've got Bret, but this show feels like we know Diesel ain't it. This is the end of the experiment. This is the end of us trying that. We're just going to get to the next show, get it back on Bret, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but it was also, there was that build underneath with Shawn in the Intercontinental Championship and hoping to get Shawn where you wanted to get Shawn. So in our mind, yes, we were already getting there. Because Vince had made the decision to turn Shawn babyface and let's go with it.
So help me understand then. Let's go down that rabbit hole for a minute. And I know you get annoyed when I do it, so bear with me. If Shawn didn't forfeit the title here, who would he have lost it to and when? Or would the plan have been WrestleMania 12, world champion versus Intercontinental champion like 6 years prior?
Well, I tell you, at the time, one of the people that was in consideration to get that championship was Dean Douglas.
But because of the booking here, we felt like we're out Undertaker, we're out Shawn Michaels. We're not doing a title switch in the main. We got to do something noteworthy, send them home happy, big baby face pop. So maybe between now and, Royal Rumble ish, Dean would have had the rematch and got the belt off him.
Yeah. And again, I don't remember exactly how the hell we had it, but I do know that Dean was talked about to be that Intercontinental Champion and then get Shawn moving on to the title at WrestleMania 12. It was a little turbulent times here because you lost Undertaker and now you lost Shawn. It was like, fuck.
Right.
What's next?
Let's talk about what's next on the show for those who were in attendance. I can't believe this is real. Mark Canterbury, Henry Godwin beat Sid after this. I can't believe that's real, but Henry Godwin beat Sid, and then Lawler does a 5-minute monologue insulting Winnipeg. And then of course, eventually, Isaac Yankem is here. Oh my goodness. Lawler and Skip are in Isaac Yankem's corner. And, we've got some folks from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the corner of Bret Hart. And what a fucking weird time this is. We've also got Owen Hart and Yokozuna beating Savio Vega and Bam Bam Bigelow. It's a weird show. Overall, you watched it this week for the first time in freaking 25 years. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Oh, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Pissed off that I had to watch it.
The best match, everyone seemingly agreed. It's the Smoking Guns and Kid and Razor. The worst match, everyone agrees. King, Mabel, and Yokozuna. We see up and coming singing sensation Joni Wilson open the show. She's going to sing the Canadian national anthem. We looked her up and now she lives in Henderson, Tennessee, where she sings and she's a real estate agent. How do you find people who are going to sing the Canadian national anthem in this era?
You look in Canadian national anthems, RS and shit in the green pages. See, they don't have yellow pages. They have green pages up there and pink pages.
I didn't know that. I'm colorblind. Yeah. You're showing off.
Well, see, there you go. And I think that that's where she was. No, she was a Canadian singer. I think Carl DeMarco brought her to us and said, hey, this is literally as you described it. This is an up and comer. And shit, had Ricky Medlock sing it. So why not her?
And old Bison Head got the gig.
Bison Head got the gig.
Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, and Jerry Lawler are on commentary for this show, which is kind of fun. And as soon as they open, King's going to complain about having to be in Winnipeg, you idiot. And he says there are places like Florida and California. And Vince reminds him it is the World Wrestling Federation. I'm curious about the set here. You want to talk about deep in the weeds here? Why is it some of the in your house sets, you have the video screen in the background and some you don't? It doesn't feel like it's very consistent. Like it looks like this every time.
It probably depended upon where the setup was. It's just what we could get in and what looked better for that particular setup.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.